Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is JerryKay, and this is the third episode of this Aegis League podcast. And today we have three more players from the Rats that are going to give us some background of what's happening in the league. We have Alun.
Hello, hello.
We have Strife.
Yo, yo, yo.
And we have Volt.
Hey.
So, how are you all doing?
We have a match today, so we're all kind of in high spirits, getting ready, vibing, not letting it get to our heads too much.
All right, cool. When is the match? Is it at 7 or when is it?
I think it's at 8. Yeah, it's at 8 today.
CT?
CT time. Yeah,
Right.
CT time.
Cool. So if I'm not mistaken, you played kind of 3 games so far. Although, to be honest, I think there was some stuff happening in the Yoko games, right? You weren't playing all of the games or something like that happened?
Yeah, correct. It was there were issues from both sides, technical issues from theirs, some other issues from, technical issues from ours, some other issues from theirs, and it all led to just basically it being a 2-1 game, with our first game basically being the decider of the result of the actual matches. So yeah, besides that, we have played against so we've done Yoko, we've done Step by Step, and we've done Glacius as our last match. Last week was a bye week, and then today we're playing against Arctic.
Cool. So you won versus Yoko and you won versus Glacius, right? And then you lost versus Step by Step, if I have my stats correct.
Yes.
How does it feel like this league? When I look at the table, right? It seems like that the Elementals Hydrogen look just the best team in the league right now, and then it seems like it's a bit of a tie for second place between Step by Step, you and Glacius, and then perhaps Yoko and Arctic are slightly lagging behind. Is that a fair representation of the table of Division 1 right now, or do we think it's still too early to draw any conclusions about that?
I think it's
Personally, I'd say it's a bit too early. I mean, first week versus Step by Step, we were still having some lineup issues. We were still figuring out positions, synergies. We hadn't done many scrims, so I think had we figured out positions, I think we would have been a lot better off versus them.
Alright. So if I'm not mistaken, all teams do go on to the playoffs due to 2 teams not being around, right? If I'm not mistaken. So 6 teams go to playoffs, and basically it's just about seeding, right?
I think so, yes.
Alright. So it seems like basically the first 2 seeds are the most important ones, right? Because they do give you a bye to the second round, basically. And in the first round, basically, it's just playing 3rd versus 6th and 4th versus 5th, right? If I'm not mistaken. So I guess your guys will try to probably fight for that first 2 places, and if not, then just try to get the 3rd place to get the on paper the weakest opponent for that first round, or what do you think? Is it important where you finish in this group stage, or is it just about just try to figure out how we're doing, just try to figure out what we're trying to achieve, how we're trying to play? So yeah, basically the balance of actually trying to be as high as possible in the table, or just trying to learn as much as possible. What is the more important thing here?
I think I speak for the entire team. We just want to get rolling.
We can barely hear you. I think you should
Yes,
adjust
I'll
your mic a
try
bit.
to put you a bit higher on user volume. Okay, can you try again?
Okay. Well, I think as a team, we're probably trying to go for first place. I think we're all confident in the ability to do it. Of course, we wouldn't mind getting second place, but with our recent lineup and the way we play and the way we practice, I believe we have a fair shot. And I think that's what we just strive to be, to win the league, basically.
Alright, cool. And do you think the group stage is going to be a fair representation of how the playoffs are going to go, or do you think it can completely turn on later on in the playoffs?
I personally think that it can definitely change, because there is still a possibility for people to change their lineups. Because for us, it was, for example, our first match against Step by Step. It was in a completely different lineup. Almost everybody was in a different role. Many on the roles that they weren't actually as comfortable with as they thought. So there are still many opportunities. Look at Yoko. They've made a switch in their lineup, which has it has not shown us benefiting yet, but I'm pretty sure it might later. And there could be possibilities of other, what do you call it? Other teams making changes into their team lineups, which will maybe throw the entire course off on how they are in the league, right? Because there might be people at the bottom right now that will suddenly change, I don't know, their mid laner or jungler with or ADC with each other's roles, or have an entire new addition to their lineup, which will change everything into their favor. Um, but yeah, I think that there are definitely still changes to be made. That there could be big changes made in the what do you call it, in the playoffs. But in another way, if there are no changes in lineups and other things like that, I think it will fairly remain the same.
All right. So you all have been talking a lot about changes in the team, right? And I've also figured out that the biggest one that at least that I've seen is the swap between Volt and you, Alun, between you two, from jungle and AD carry, right? You were swapping that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So what was the reasoning? Like, I think that you started with Heaven in bot lane, right? With and then Alun was first in jungle, then you swapped around, right? So what was the reasoning behind first the decision that you start that way, and then also the decision that you change your way of doing that?
I think it was mostly because I had been playing jungle for a good bit as almost my secondary role, with my main role always being AD carry. But a big factor in that is that W Pole, he's been basically my support duo for 5, 6+ years. So I guess me playing jungle on my own, it was fine up until I realized the fact that I do not have the amount of fundamental skills that I need to play it as a team instead of playing it as my own game in the jungle. And I realized that I need to maybe switch a role with someone because I lack that, and jungler still has the most impact in the role early game, from what I from what I can see. And that's where Vault came with the idea to swap it around a bit.
I think another driving factor is in solo queue, my secondary roles are always jungle or top. And my champ pool across jungle is just way bigger than my champ pool across any other role. I play most junglers, which just means that you can never really ban me out. Whereas ADC, I only play 5 to 6 ADCs. And most of those are only good in certain matchups. So it means that I'm easily banned out.
All right. So it seems to be working so far. And another thing that kind of has been going around with this jungle role is that amount of AD mids that Strife is playing. If I'm not mistaken, Strife, except for one game, you always played AD mids, which is, maybe not as usual as for mid laners. They, also play some AP. Is that like a personal play style for you? Do you just like these champions that have ADs, or is it like maybe just to complementing the AP junglers? Because we have seen stuff like I think it was Diana in the jungle, right? We've seen Gwen in the jungle, stuff like that. So is it like to complement the jungler more, or is like you just like to play AD mids?
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I play Echo, but I can't play Echo in the tournament. I think it's some kind of fear. I don't know, but no, I primarily play Echo. That's my only AP mid that I primarily play. But for a while, I just played straight AD the champions because I like their kit a lot more. Yeah, and that's why I think I have the most experience on just most AD mid laners, and I have players in my team that are able to play AP, so we'll never be full AD. So I have the trust to do it.
Like, for example, we have Pantero, which his kit is majority is AP top laners, which perfectly adds on to the fact that Strife's Echo is probably mostly going to be banned throughout the entire tournament. It's always been banned in every match. And of course, Vault has a very big range over junglers to go AP.
All right, so that's cool. So it complements very well. I have a question about the name. Where did you come up with the rats? Is it just like is it like a cage roll meme, or is it something else? Like, where does the name come from?
It actually
Yeah.
it started as a joke just between us as a group, because we've been friends for a while, and it was always just a joke with rats. And then when we were entering Aegis League, it just started out as a bit of a meme between us. And then we thought, let's call our team the Rats. And we had that meme team picture for a while. And when we actually started getting into it, we switched up the picture, and I think the Rats just has a sense of community with us.
All right, cool. It's a cool name. I like it. Anyways, you have Arctic game next today, right? You've said. So, with all due respect, it seems like that you perhaps are the favorites. Obviously, with all respect to Arctic, they can always, win. I'm not saying that they cannot, but I would say that on paper, from the table at least, you guys seem to be the favorites. Do you feel like that is a fair assumption, or how do you feel about it?
I think on paper we are the better team rank-wise, and I think in the match today, either we're going to show that and demolish them, or we are going to have a fair match that's going to be fairly long. We might want to show some new picks. We might want to just play our fundamental picks, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this is most for the questions. Now we'll move on to the part where we do a bit of a game. I don't know if you're familiar with the first and the second episode. But basically I do a bit of a quiz, and you will compete between each other who will get more points. I have 8 questions, 4 questions only about your team, and then 4 questions about the whole league. We have some questions have more points than just one, some questions just have 1 point, I think. So basically it's just about the stats, right? Are you familiar with how this works?
I'm afraid I'm not personally.
Okay.
It's going to be very interesting because, as you can hear me through Strive's mic. So if we're going to start screaming about the answer, it's going to be very interesting.
No, it's like everyone gives their answer, and then I say which is the right answer. It's not about who's first.
All right.
Let me just set this up. All right. So the first question is about your team. As I said, the first 4 questions are only about your team. And the question is, who has earned the most gold and how much? So basically, you'll say who and then also how much, and the closest one to the actual number will get the second point. The first point is who earned the most gold, and the second point is how much. It's basically the closest. The thing is, though, if you get the first part wrong, you cannot get the second point if you're closest to the number, if that makes sense, okay?
Alright.
So we're gonna start off with Alun. So basically, who do you think is the player in your team that has earned the most gold, and how much?
I think it's Vault.
Okay. And how much?
22k.
Okay.
Maybe it's a stretch, but I think it's pretty high.
Okay. I'll just say this is all games combined, okay? It's not just about one game. Okay, so Strife, you go next.
I also think it's Vault.
Okay.
I do remember reading it was around the 38k, I think.
38k? Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. And Vault, what do you say?
It's me, and I'm pretty sure it's around 29,000.
Okay. So the correct answer was Vault, but the correct number was 65,209.
Jesus Christ.
It was 5 games, right? So it obviously, around I guess 12 to 13k gold per game. So everyone gets at least 1 point, and then Strive gets 2 points for being the closest to the actual answer. Obviously, still quite far with the answer. Not gonna lie, but regardless.
Yeah.
You sold yourself short there.
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right. So the next question is, out of the 4 players who have played 5 games, so the 4 players that have played 5 games from you is Alun, Strife, Volt, and W Paul. Who has not played 5 different champions? Basically, 3 players have played 5 different champions, and 1 player has not played 5 different champions. So we are searching for that 1 player who has not played 5 different champions. We're gonna go with Strife first because you have the most points, so you have to go first.
I think Loon, the one that played less than 5 champions.
Okay, Volt, you go next.
I think it would be Paul.
Okay, and Alun, what do you say?
I think it's Pantero.
Pantera is not eligible because he has not played all games.
Oh right. Okay, then I think it's. Yeah, I think it's. No, I think it's me actually because I think Paul had that Shen game against Step by Step, and then his entire support pool is multiple supports, but I can't count it up to 5. But yeah, my answer is me.
Okay, the answer is you. It's Alun. So Alun and Strive get 1 point. With Volt not getting one, sadly, in this round. But so the points right now are Strife is leading with 3 points, Alun is second with 2 points, and Volt is currently last with 1 point. But we are going on to the next question, which is who has least amount of kills per game. So it's per game, okay? And then how much? Basically, whoever will be closest will get the second point, if the first answer is obviously correct. So we're gonna go with Strife first, Alun second, and Volt third, since we're going, who has the most points to who has the least points. So Strife, you go first. Who do you think?
I have a question though. Is it kills or takedowns?
Only kills.
Then I think it's Paul.
Okay. And how much per game?
Per game, average?
Yes.
Probably like 2, 3, maybe.
Okay. You have to decide for one.
3.
3? Okay. Alun, what do you think?
I think it's Paul as well, with an average of either 1 or 2. He's usually very good at KSing, but he hasn't really been doing that.
Okay. So to decide for 1 or for 2?
2. I'll just say 2.
Okay. And Volt, what do you say?
I would also go Paul, and I'll say 1.
Okay. So Paul was the correct answer, and Paul's kills per game is 1.8, which means that Alun is the closest to it. So Alun gets 2 points for this one, so you're up to 4 points. Volt gets 1 point, so you're also up to 4, and Volt gets 1 point, so you're now at 2 points. And we go to our last question of the team only. And the question is, rank your team from most assists to least assists. You have 6 players, obviously, and each player you get correct in the position. So from most to least, you get 1 point for, okay? So most assists to least assists. And obviously the players that, they have 6 players, right? So I'm just going to read them out. There are Strife, Pantero, Vault of Heaven, Alun, Archlight Storm, and W. Paul. Those are the 6 eligible players, right? We're going to go with Alun first. You have to basically just name them from most assists to least amount of assists.
Okay. I'm gonna start with the most as, of course, being Paul.
Okay.
I think second is... I'm in a tie here. Either me or Vault. I think it's Vault second.
Okay.
Me third.
Okay.
And then it's Storm fourth.
Storm is Archlight. Okay.
Yeah, Archlight Storm. So then it's Storm fourth, and then we have Strife fifth and Pantero sixth.
Okay. Strife, you go next.
So I think the most assist is Paul. Then I think second is Vault. Third is Pantero. Fourth is Alun. Fifth is, well, me, Strife. And then sixth is Arclight.
Okay. And Volt, you go next.
I think it's most is Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Second is me.
Mm-hmm.
Third would be Alun.
Okay.
Fourth would be Strife.
Okay.
Fifth would be Pantero, and sixth would be Storm.
Okay, so we're gonna have a bit of a shake-up, it seems, because Volt, you actually got all the answers correct.
Oh my goodness.
It was WPOL, Volt, Alun, Strife, Pantero, and Archlight. Storm. Both Alun and Strife get 3 points each. So you're both going up to 7 points. And Volt is going now to the first place, going to 8 points with this good performance in this category. Now we're going for stuff that is for all of the league. Okay, it's not just about your team. Now we're going for all of the league. And the first question about that is who has most kills in the league and how many. And since we have Volt as the leading in the points, you have to go first.
I would have to say, I'm not 100% sure how to say his name, but Pycosa or Psychosa. It's the Elemental's Hydrogen Jungler.
Pycosa. Okay.
Yeah.
We go with Strife next.
I
Oh, sorry.
thought it-
My bad. You also have to say the number. So can you?
Oh, the number.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd say 30.
30. Okay. Okay, Strife, you go now.
I thought it was the top laner for Step by Step.
That's Reformed God. I was
Yeah.
gonna say him as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And how much do you think?
In like overall every kill or is average?
Yeah. Overall, every kill.
I would go like 40.
40.
Something like that. 40 kills, something like that.
Okay. Alun, do you also say Reformed God, as you said, or?
Yeah, I also say Reformed God, and I think it's more up to a 50.
Okay. So the correct answer was Reformed God, and the correct number was 59. Which means that Alun, you get 2 points, which brings you up to 9. Strife goes up to gets 1 point, so you're up to 8. And Voltel doesn't get any points in this one. Okay, but we go to the next question, which is least deaths per game. So this is gonna be average. So this is not all games combined. It's like all games divided by how many games they are, if that makes sense, right? So least deaths per game and how much. And we're gonna go with Alun first this time around.
Oh, I think it's what was the old AD carry called? I think it was Munchmello
Okay, how much?
with an average of I think 3 deaths.
Okay. Strife, you can go second.
I think the ones with the lowest death, I think is Pantero
Okay, and how much per game?
per game. I think 3.
Okay. And Volt, what do you say?
The question was lowest stats, right?
Lowest deaths per game.
Yeah, I think it's Pantero with an average of 1.
Okay. That is actually, again, the correct question. Pantero has died 3 times in 3 games, which brings the average down to 1. So basically, Alun gets 0 points in this one. Strife, you get 1 point, which brings you up to 9 points as well. And Volt, you get 2 points, which brings you up to 10 points. And we go to the second to last question, which is who has most gold per game? Again, per game, so average. And how much? And since Volt, you have the most points, you are to go first.
I think it's Dr. Valentine, the SBS ADC, with 15k per game.
Okay, so Dr. Valentine. How much did you say? Can you say it again, please?
15k per game.
15k? Okay. So
Yeah.
Strife, you go next.
I think I have the same answer, but I believe it was 16k.
Okay, so Valentine, 16k. And Alun, what do you say?
I mean, is it allowed to have the same answer as someone else?
Yes, you
Or
can
is
say
it-
the same
okay,
thing,
okay.
yes.
Yeah, I think it's Dr. Valentine with like 15k as well.
15k. Okay, so sadly nobody gets any points in this one. Because the correct answer is Poro Demon, the top laner from was Hydrogen, and he had 14,476.8 gold per game. So no points distributed in this round. We have one more, and this one is who has the most deaths in the league? So combined, it's not average; it's just all the stats combined. Most deaths and how many? And we're gonna go with Vault first, Alun second, and Strive third. So
quickly,
Vault. Yes.
Division 2 counts, right?
No, just Division 1. Just Division 1.
Oh, okay, just Division 1. Okay, got it.
So yeah, basically, who has the most deaths? Vault, you go first, and how many?
I think it would be Void Bunny, and
Okay.
I'm gonna have to say I think 13 deaths.
13. Okay.
Yeah.
Alun, you go second.
I think it's Dorzu or Dorzy.
Okay. How
I
much?
think it's Dorzy. Is it over like total deaths or
Total
was it
deaths. Not
total deaths?
average, just total deaths. All deaths that has happened.
I think it's at 5 games, so I reckon it's like 25.
25. Okay. And Strife, what is your answer?
I'm just gonna say whatever Vault said. I haven't really been paying attention to the deaths myself.
Okay, so you are agreeing with Void Bunny and 13 deaths?
Yeah.
Alright, well, again, sadly no points are distributed because, funnily enough, Reformed God, who had the most kills, also has the most deaths. And the answer is 37. Which...
High risk, high reward player.
Yeah, it seems like a very... Yeah. I guess he either smashes the lane or runs it down completely. But this was
Sounds like my top laners in ranked. Okay, wait. Sorry, continue.
Me in
Sorry,
ranked.
But yeah, okay, this was the last question, which means that Volt was our winner. To be honest, I probably put a bit too many points to him for the rank assists.
Quickly, it's her.
My bad. Okay.
No, it's fine.
All right. So yeah, maybe I put too many points for the 6 6 points for the ranking of the assists. But regardless.
Yeah, it kind of came to bite us in the ass.
Yeah, maybe I put a bit too points for that. Maybe I should have made it like 0.5 points for each answer. But maybe, I'll change this for the future. But thank you, all of you, for joining in on this podcast. Do you have any last words before today's games? And how do you think you'll predict predictions for the season? Are you winning the league? Are you making a deep run? Like how are you feeling?
I think we are a very strong team now with the composition we have and the people we have. We're all in good shoes. I think we're definitely a team to look out for, both to the enemy teams and the watchers of the league, and that we will definitely reach for first place. Second place is not going to be, I think, enough for us.
All right, cool. Strife, any last words before we sign off?
Yeah, what Alun just said, I agree. We're gonna do our best. I do have a message for the other teams if they're listening. Lean real close.
Let's hear it.
Don't ban Echo. I'll make it a fun game. That'd be really nice. But yeah, that's we're gonna do our best.
All right, and you, Vault?
I'm pretty excited for the game next week versus Hydrogen. We've scrimmed against them. I think I'm actually starting to become friends with the ADC. I think it'll be quite a fun match.
All right, cool. I mean, it's gonna be a banger. It seems like they have the most points right now, so whoever is gonna beat them first is gonna be the next big thing. So, looking forward to that. Thank you for joining. Thank you for everyone who has also joined in listening to this podcast. I hope you all enjoyed it. Next week, hopefully, have a new team coming on. And yeah, until next time, see ya.